Hi everyone, it's Kristen. So today is December 1st, so it's the first day in my Advent Calendar series. Um, I did it last year and it was fun. It kind of made it feel more like the holidays, so I wanted to do it again this year. So I have two Advent calendars this year. I got this one from a friend. You might have already seen it in some of the Dazzler videos. I put it on the ottoman one day just because I'm like, oh wow, this is so cool. Where am I going to put it though? To stash it so I won't lose it. I have a habit of losing things. And I put it on the ottoman and Dazzler immediately laid on it. I think she just likes the slick surface or something. I don't know. Anyway, so you might have seen it in one of the videos with her. It's like a storybook collection, which I think is really fun. And then I bet there will be no X-Men in it, like we've talked about with the Marvel stuff. It's not necessarily any X-Men because I feel like they're a separate entity from Marvel. So I bought this one for myself because I just think it's so cute. Like I love anything little and miniature. I mean, I made the mansion for the X-Men and all the accessories, like all the little foods and the flowers and just dishes and all that stuff is so much fun. Like I just think it's all so just super cute. So just those two. Well, I do have a princess one that my friend got me, but I mean, if you're watching this, you don't care about the princess calendar, so I'm not going to include that one. But anyway, so I do have three, but I didn't include that one. So we'll start with this one. It is ginormous. Let's see, where's number one? Oh, there it is. Okay, so let's see if I can move this over a little bit. Yep, okay. So it comes in like this little sleeve. Oh, it's interesting. So it says Loki, enemy number one, and it's the first day of Advent calendar, which makes sense. I mean, very on the nose. It says on the back, someone is interfering with Loki's plans. Can he find a way to make them stop? So I won't read you the whole book because that might make it long, but we'll just I'll just read you like a couple things. Hello, I know this calendar has a lot of stories in it, but this is the only one you need. It is, after all, about the greatest hero of all time, me. So what story should I tell you? I have so many good ones. There's the time I humiliated Thor, the time I beat all the Avengers, maybe the time that I beat up the Hulk. Wait, I know. What's a good hero without a great enemy? I'll tell you the story of my greatest foe, a real dastardly villain. So, and then, oh, it looks like this is the story of Sith. Because originally she had blonde hair, like beautiful blonde hair. And Thor, he just, when they first met, he was enamored with her and her blonde hair. Because it was beautiful. It was like gold, just, and Loki started to get jealous of all the time they spent together. And how Thor talked about nothing but Sith and her long, beautiful blonde hair and just talked about it incessantly, so much so it drove him crazy. So what he decided was he was going to steal every strand of her beautiful hair that Thor loves so much. And then, no one would ever suspect it's him. But Sith caught him. You can see she's bald, and she's like, I don't understand why you did this. I've been nothing but nice to you. But at the same time, Thor, because, according to Loki, Thor's not the brightest, bulb, or the sharpest tool in the shed. And so he would suggest things, and Thor would be like, oh, that's a great idea. And now that Sith was there, she was like, yeah, I don't think that's such a great idea. I don't know. I mean, I know Loki, has your best interest at heart, but yeah, I don't think that's such a great idea. So Loki was upset about that. So they started, going at each other, and Odin said, enough, stop this. And Loki's like, I can replace it, because Odin was gonna let Sith, have him let, her have his revenge. And so yeah, Odin's like, okay, very well, you have 1 day to replace her hair, or I shall grant her her revenge. So he went to the dwarves and he asked them to create, you know, golden strands of hair, because um, he says in the book it's hard. Well, yeah, he says it's hard to make things come back after you make them disappear. So, anyway, went to the dwarves. They didn't want to work with him. He went to the second best smith, and asked him and said, I've been second best my whole life too, second best to Thor. We can work together. We can make a name for ourselves. And so he's like, okay, he agreed to it. So I gave him a crown with beautiful golden hair, and, he said, just put this on her head and she'll, have her hair back. And the dwarf was like, well, now about my payment. And Loki's like, I didn't say anything about payment. So he took the crown and left without paying him. And so Loki came back, put the crown on Sif's head, because he's like, here you go. Like, I replaced your hair. And you can see Odin and Freya and Thor and Heimdall in this picture as well. But since the dwarfen smith had enchanted the crown, because he thought Loki might betray him, he thought he might, not pay him, so he enchanted the crown so that his cis golden hair would turn raven black. And so that's how she ended up with black hair instead of the blonde hair that she had, before. And Loki's like, personally, I like the black hair better, of course. He's like, I've always been partial to dark hair. And it says, she was not so happy and tried to stab me, but Odin stopped her. Loki swore he would replace your hair, and he has. There was no promise made about the color of the hair. Odin's voice boomed. And Sith couldn't stab him, but pulled him close and said, I'll see to it that you're never trusted again. No matter what you do, I'll stop you. So if you read this far, you probably already guessed who my greatest villain is. Who did you guess? And he says, that's right, it's me. I'm my own worst enemy. I learned that day, if you're going to play pranks, you shouldn't break anything you can't fix. Good trickster always needs to think 2 steps ahead. So that was actually a cute story, and comic book accurate, because sometimes they don't, sometimes it's not. Well, I don't know if this whole advent calendar is going to be like stories from comic books, or if they're going to mix in some, MCU Marvel movie stories too. I guess we'll see. But yeah, this first one, surprisingly comic book accurate, so that's fun. And yeah, I like that story. It was a pretty funny story. Okay. So now we'll go on to this one. Oh, I like how it does this. It has Velcro and it folds out. Okay, so here's the first day. If I can get it to come out. Now you're going to see me awkwardly trying to open this. Oh, it's Iron Man. That is so adorable. Like I said, I love these. They're so cute. And they make it so at the bottom, you can take him out. So see the little box, and then you can take him out. Oh, he's so cute. I love this. Like I said, I just love miniature things. Who doesn't love miniature things? Because they're super cute. So there you go. That's day one. Okay, that that video went longer than I thought because I kind of went through the whole story, but I think it's a pretty funny, enjoyable story. I don't know if I probably won't read all the stories. It just, I guess, depends on kind of what the story is, but that story started off, kind of, it grabbed your attention. So I wanted to see, okay, where is he going with this? So anyway, yeah, I think this is going to be a fun series. So I hope you will join me tomorrow for another one of these videos. And like I said, not sure if I'm going to, go through the whole story. We will see. It's just that one. I really like that story. I think it's it's interesting. And I've talked about that in my regular like comic book videos, that particular story, but I just think it's cute that they put it in like the little storybook and that Loki, it was told from his perspective. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you will join me tomorrow for Advent Calendar Day 2 video. Until next time, bye.